So, if you were a betting person and you were given opportunity to bet on an altercation between a fox and a hen, how would you place your bet? Well, any reasonable person would bet on the fox, right? After all, the fox has sharp teeth and claws, and of course, a reputation for trickery and deceit. But a hen has only herself, her body, and love for her chicks. Luke sets before us a tantalizing metaphor: a fox, Herod, and a hen, Jesus. The story begins when the Pharisees, whose dislike of Jesus is surpassed only by their hatred for Herod, attempt to thwart Herod by urging Jesus to escape. "Get away from here," they warn. "Herod wants to kill you." But Jesus stands firm. "Go tell that fox I am not quitting. I'm going to keep on working, casting out demons, healing the sick, doing what I came to do until I finish my work on the third day." A clear reference to his resurrection. Jesus, at this point, still had a lot of work to do and would not be deterred from his purpose by that fox. However, we could understand if he were. That fox, Herod, is the son of Herod the Great, from whom Mary and Joseph fled with baby Jesus those many years before, when he ordered the massacre of all boy babies under the age of 2. An order unrivaled in viciousness and cruelty. And as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This Herod, too, would not hesitate to destroy Jesus if he thought it would help his own position. This Herod is that very same fox who beheaded John the Baptist to save himself from humiliation before his dinner guests. And apparently, he was not the only sly fox in that family. As you'll recall, the whole beheading situation was set up by Herod's wife, Herodias, who hated John the Baptist with a passion. And speaking of passion, we hear Jesus' passion for his beloved in his lament over Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. I can imagine tears streaming down his face, overwhelmed by his motherly love for his little chicks. Herod the fox, Jesus the mother hen. Barbara Brown Taylor invites us to consider the contrast. Herod has soldiers. Jesus has disciples. Herod rules. Jesus serves. Herod kills his enemies. Jesus prays for his. In a contest between a fox and a hen, well, doesn't look good for the hen. All she can do is fluff herself up and sit on her chicks. She can put herself between them and the fox. And when Herod came after him, that is just what Jesus did. Like a mother hen who stands firm in love for her chicks, he refused to run. He put himself between his chicks and that fox. Brown Taylor notes that the contest between the hen and the fox turns out to be the cosmic battle of all time, in which the power of tooth and claw is put up against the power of a mother's love for her chicks. Can love possibly win? Against all odds, it would seem that the answer is yes. Love can win. Love does win. Herod and his Roman pals today are but a memory, while the love of our mother hen, our Jesus, lives on these 2,000 years later. His love lives in you and in me and in the hundreds of millions of Christians around the world. And let's be perfectly clear, The love that stands firm against the foxes of this world is not some ushy-gushy, sugar-sweet love. It is love woven from strands of raw courage, relentless strength, and brave vulnerability. It is love that stands firm in protecting the most vulnerable chicks among us. Today, we see this same sort of love powerfully demonstrated in the Ukraine, where despite that fox, Putin, Christians are standing firm in love, feeding, sheltering, supporting the most vulnerable, helping millions to escape, even as residences, community buildings, cathedrals, and churches are deliberately bombed. Praying and worshiping together, committing the bodies of their dead to God in Christian burial, they remain firmly tucked under Jesus' wings. Church leaders and brave civilians, even in Russia, are speaking out against the Russian fox at tremendous personal risk. That's what love does. We hear this love in the words of Ukrainian President Zelensky, who said last week, "Even if you destroy all our Ukrainian cathedrals and churches, you will not destroy our faith, our sincere belief in Ukraine and God, belief in people." Standing firm in love. We see the same courageous love much closer to home when clergy, like our bishops and our rector, stand firm to protect vulnerable trans youth and their families in opposition to fox-like threats. Bishop Doyle recently posted this: "The Episcopal Church supports the full inclusion of transgender people and prohibits discrimination against them. They are beloved children of God, whose dignity we promise at baptism to respect." And we, the St. David's community, received a note from Father Chuck a couple of weeks ago that reads in part, "Friends in Christ, as your rector, I remain firmly committed to respecting the dignity of every human being. I believe unequivocally that transgender people, as all people, are created fully and beautifully in the image of God. I believe it is morally reprehensible for our elected officials to target an already vulnerable group of children with tactics that instill fear and endanger lives. I invite you all into fervent prayer for the safety of all transgender persons and to work to resist all efforts to harm them." Father Chuck. Standing firm in love. You know, it's funny. It seems like it would be easy to tell the difference between a fox and a hen. I mean, how hard could that be, right? But foxes are slippery, crafty creatures. Sometimes they pretend to be hens or chicks, and some of us are fooled. But there's a surefire way to tell. Is what is being said or done a loving thing? Does it serve others and protect the vulnerable? Or does it serve the fox? In short, is it love? If not, it has paw prints all over it. My beloved fellow chicks, we must each ask ourselves, how am I standing firm in love against the foxes of this world? What am I doing to make a difference? Foxes are many and they are powerful, but they are not as powerful as love. I know this, but I confess that I often feel weak-kneed and ineffectual when foxes growl and bare their teeth, and I wonder, what can I, little chick that I am, how can I possibly make a difference for God and for goodness? So I've come to this. For one thing, We can stay gathered together as we are today under the wings of our mother hen. And we can pray. And let's not ever say just pray or only pray as though it is nothing. Prayer is a great big something, a powerful force that joins us with other praying chicks around the globe, standing firm in love. We can support humanitarian efforts generously with money and with time. We can bravely speak up in support of the vulnerable as opportunities arise, following the courageous example of our bishop and our rector. And we can willingly make personal sacrifices, such as accepting higher prices without complaint, no matter how long they last, in order to support others who need it. Now, there may be much more that you personally can do. Many of you have large circles of influence and stronger voices than most of us. But whatever our position, whatever our circle, it kind of boils down to the same thing. We need to live like our mother hen, standing firm in love in the face of the cruelest fox. Against all outward appearances that the fox is stronger, my money is on the hen, always on the hen.